Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. We had Deku, and we also had Tokage. Now, these two became drinking buddies. And Deku, him and her, they were drinking at 9 in the morning while throwing knives at a board. And Bakugo, he was concerned about Deku. Deku was the guy who would rather avoid getting drunk and unfocused. But right now, he's throwing caution to the wind and practicing a skill? Yeah. He understands that Deku needs time to recover, time to fully heal. I mean, from what he has seen of Deku, he's gotten a little shaky. And even the girl that he came back with, she seemed that way as well. She's got this look of her. She seems a little messed up. He doesn't know the right way to say it, but she's clearly been on something. He's been avoiding mentioning it, but it's easy to tell. Whatever was in her system, either she's still craving it, or her mind hasn't forgotten the feeling. And that it doesn't worry him. Him and her became drinking buddies while the rest of the group was trying to plan for the winter. And while that was happening, there was the Deceiver, which was doing one thing. It found Izuku's trail again. It found that thin string that leads it straight to him, and it began to move. Right now, it needs to find the piece and complete the puzzle. Now, with that being said, we do currently have Deku. It's been a few days. It's been 2.5 months since the world has ended. And currently Izuku, he does lay there at night. Right now him having the same nightmare he's had for the last 2 weeks. It's been bad. He's only been at the manor for, what now, 6 days, 7? And it's still happening. And we do cut to Deku's mind. Right now Deku, he opens his eyes, and he lays there in a hospital bed. The room looks nice. It looks clean. Sanitized. He looks out the window and he sees the world before. It's clean, bright, sunny, and it doesn't smell like... No. What is that smell? Oh good, you're finally awake. Deku turning his head. As the doctor, they do get a turn, expressing. They weren't sure if he'd wake up after this latest surgery, though they are happy that he's still compliant. Well, working with them, it has been a bit more difficult, but the research they've done has been able to make a proper cure. And his sacrifice, it certainly will be remembered. What are you talking about? Wait, the world's better? Yes, it is. Though, I'm so sorry for all you've had to give Izuku. What are you talking about? I want to go... I want... Are you alright? Why? Why can't I move? The doctor gonna smile. And Deku, he sees the unnatural crack on her face. She smiles just a little too wide. And her teeth, they do go to creak together. And Deku, he does watch her walk over to him, her hand coming up and elongating. Before she's the pull of the covers, and Deku, he does look down. Right now him seeing the bloody bandages and the stubs that used to be his arms and legs. Deku gonna jump up as right now he's gonna bring his hands up. Him grabbing at his arms and finding that they're still there. And he does a silent suck in a breath. Him looking down and seeing his feet. And Deku, he does just don't sit there. Him rocking back and forth for a second as he's trying to regain his composure. And this, it isn't good. Him gonna turn and walk out of the room. And Deku, he needs some fresh air. He doesn't need to sleep right now. he just needs to get up and move. That ran through his mind. And currently while Deku, he is up and moving, he does a look around the manor. Right now him finding very little activity. Walking by the door, as May's workshop, it is still open for business. Him going to actually turn and press on the door. Right now him going to open it up, as Hatsume, she does somewhat sit there. Right now her with her hands limp and her head to the side on the table. And Izuku can hear her snoring, along with the fact that he does see a pot of coffee that is still brewing. And Deku, he does a stare on that. Him gonna step inside, as Hatsume, she doesn't really move. Him gonna walk over and bring his hand down, finding that this freshly brewed pot is still warm. Him turning his head and going to watch as May, her coffee cup is half empty. Deku gonna actually turn, looking around and looking at the room. Tons of metal, warped and shaped differently. Panels and, well, pieces of technology just taken apart and ripped apart. This place is a madhouse. Deku trying to look at May. Before he has to do one thing. He looks at the bed she has in the room. And he does a turn, going to bring his hand up. Him going to try and shake her, as she does his own turn and look up. Her staring at Deku, and then going to turn her head somewhat surprised. Before she does this won't fall backwards. Deku bringing his hands up to catch her, as he's to pick her up. Him going to walk her over to the bed and set her down. Him going to actually turn back to the table and walk over. And it's... Right. Okay. So... Some of these plans he doesn't understand. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna turn and leave. And May, she currently is laid there on the bed, as she's pretty sure she was on the table a second ago. But then again, that Irish coffee may have been a little too much. And May is gonna pass out. Izuku currently stepping outside and taking a breath of air. And it feels refreshing. Him going to begin to look around. Before after he does is start taking a walk. And a few minutes later Deku finds himself sitting out on the stairs. And there actually is Ochako. Ochako, she was currently sitting down on top of the manor. But whenever she saw movement, she looked down and looked around, seeing Deku just sitting there. And he was thinking, has a lot going through his mind. Maybe. Maybe he is okay? No, he's not. She knows that. Okay. So, this is certainly something. Maybe talk to him. If he's awake, then he probably had another nightmare. It ran through her mind. She relied on him. And now it's time for the other way around. Her going to bring up her radio and give it a click. As Deku hears a look down. Right now him having his radio somewhat beep as he doesn't flinch. Him a lot more alarmed. Going to bring it up and turn it on. Hello? Hey. Are you okay? Yeah, no, sorry. I just had to turn on the volume. I didn't... If I messed up your patrol, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I see you down there. I'm going to turn his head and look up at the top of the manor. As Ochako does going to lean over the railing and bring up her hand. And Deku, he will go to express. So when did she start patrolling up there? A little easier. Besides, you can see a lot more up here. The city's kind of pretty, especially with all the lights that we see. Right. I'll take your word for it. You want to come up? Sure. Be there in 5. they're going to get on the move. And while he's currently on the move, there also is the Deceiver. Currently, it's running down the highway ramp, and with a lot going through its head. And right now, there actually is a small little caravan coming through the area. It goes on sit there and look around before it does a get low and down to the ground and watch on. Since this could be a proper meal, it still does have its injuries from the military people, and trying to recover that mass has not been easy. Now, the Deceiver, it does have a watch on, currently as one of the trucks do go to drive by, and it does it to roll by slowly. And the men, they do also sit there listening to the radio. As right now when the CD's playing, it does sing that song. And everyone, they're in a bit of a good mood, though they are trying to be careful. They're not too sure what can happen. They've already dealt with crazy shit during the day, and they've heard rumors that some stuff might be active at night, but they're not sure how true that is. Now, there currently is the Deceiver, which does go to attack. Now, this does cause some problems, as right now the Deceiver, it has been to tear into and rip into the vehicles, and take on these people. And it does take apart their small little caravan. One of the vehicles going to get away, as the other one, it is damaged by the Deceiver, but also allowed to run off, though they may not get far, because one of the tires, they were attacked, and that concerned these people. The truck will have to be abandoned, and ultimately, in the end, it does suck, because this was a pretty damn good truck. Now, currently the Deceiver, it does just don't sit there. It's bringing its hands down and going to grab at the throat of one of the people who it attacked. And it does gotta do one thing. It does gotta lean down. It's grabbing the person in its massive arm as it does gotta rip the person in half before biting into their throat the moment they do begin to scream. It's tearing out their vocal cords as right now it does gotta start to do a few things. Shifting those cords down and into its flesh as it does open its mouth and begin to somewhat speak in a more and more human tone again, since it is not good. And this thing is a turn to the soldier, it munching on his arm before going to run off. And this, it's not very good. And the man, his body is left there for whatever comes by, whatever else might be active during the night. And this, it's not good. Now, currently the Deceiver does bolt directly through the oncoming night, before it does get to finally see something in the distance. Right now to it does get to bring its eyes out of the sockets, them coming out of the holes in the front of its face as they are on tentacle-like appendages. And it does get to bring them up. It's looking around the area as two more sets of eyes do come out as well. And it does begin to try and look on. As currently, it does pick up that scent. And Deku, he does sit there with Ochako. Her trying to ask if it was difficult. It wasn't easy. It wasn't? No. No. I don't like talking about it, Ochako, but I know what you mean. Listen, I do appreciate it, but I don't know, okay? My nightmares are about that doctor, and I don't get peace when I sleep. It's not just that, but I see All Might. What? In your dream? No. God, no. I wish I saw him in my dreams, but it's not him. I don't know the right way to describe it. Deku looking up and out into the night, trying to tell her. The doctor said stage 2 is where you do begin to have your mind break down. It could take months for it to happen. But they said that he was in stage 0. It's a lot to explain. Here's the right way to put it. He's an abnormality because he wasn't born with a quirk. He got one before UA. And the person who gave it to him was All Might. He doesn't know. In fact, he knows how crazy and unbelievable it does sound, but that's the damn truth. And those people are gonna come after him if they didn't get away from that fucking deceiver. You're using the term Bakugo made. Huh? Yeah. Bakugo said that those things deceive you. I mean, simplest hunting method would be to knock on a door and wait for someone to open it, then chow down. Yeah. I don't know. It's a good name. Gotta give him that. Though, I don't know what I would have come up with. Maybe something better. Maybe. Listen, I do appreciate the chat. Well, I'm always here. I know. Her gonna turn to Deku and go to scoot over a bit more before she has to lean in and give him a kiss. And Deku, he has a turn, bring up his hand as him and her do begin to kiss more, and it feels relaxing. It helps Deku clear his mind. It helps him distract himself, and it's something to get lost in. And the two, they do begin to make out a bit more before there actually is a sound, and it does not concern them, since it sounded shit. Currently, Ochako gonna turn. As this thing, it leaped over the fence and smashed down into the gravel driveway right outside the gate. And this, it does concern them. As Reno the Deceiver, it does gonna bring its head up and scream out. And this, it does alarm everybody. As Reno, that thing is sending out a massive, massive amount of sound. And that it does concern both Deku and Ochako. Reno Ochako going to actually turn, running over to the ledge and bring up her weapon. Right now, her holding up the rifle as she has to aim out. Right now, her aiming for this thing and staring right at it. And looking at the holy fuck. Now, Ochako doesn't bring her hand down onto the trigger. Her gonna get ready as she's on fire. And the moment she has to do that, this thing immediately does a turn looking up. And Ochako, she's gonna see it in the moonlight. And it does gonna see her. It's currently gonna turn its head as it's going to take a shot right into the shoulder, into the muscle right there on its neck. And it immediately is gonna bring its hand up covering the wound. And Ochako stares at that. What the hell? Now, she's gonna turn, talking about how it's smart. And the two, they do go to run. Now, everybody in the manor was put on high alert. And they were concerned. And there actually was Bakugo. Bakugo, he was awake tonight. Still trying to think about a lot of the pain he's in, but still trying to think about some of the people they've lost. Him holding onto the bullet casing and thinking back about Kirishima. And whenever he heard that shot be fired, it alarmed him. He thought that it was done. It was over. But that was not the concern. As Reno Deku, he's running through the manor, pounding on the walls, yelling that something's inside. And people, they do begin to get up. Now, everyone, they're on high alert. As the Deceiver, it knows something is here. And it isn't leaving without it. Now, Deku, he does begin to start getting to work. Him trying to lock the doors and make sure everything is secure. This thing knows something is here. It took a shot. So, it'll try to get inside. Mainly the windows? It's a big possibility. Big thing, but most of them are... Shit, they're locked but not boarded. Okay. So, it doesn't matter. It'd be useless. Everyone gonna meet up. And currently Deku, he does stand there. Him with his gun, as he currently is in a room. Everyone coming to meet up as radio chatter is being scattered. And they all do get to hear Deku say one thing. Since they all need to meet up in the library now. And everyone, they do go to agree. Currently, many of them taking the weapons that they do use on patrol. Basic pistols and some rifles. And Deku, whenever he does actually get in the library, he does bring his hand down. Him gonna set down two of the weapons he brought, along with even gonna actually turn and grab the grenade that's on his belt. Him gonna actually bring it up and look down at it. It's an idea, but a grenade would cause so much. Okay. Shit. There's... Okay. They've got some revolvers, pistols, 3 grenades, and 5, 6 rifles now. They should be able to take it on. But that's an issue. Okay, fire. They need fire. That going through Deku's mind. And the deceiver, it currently does stuck around outside, waiting for any sign people are there. And it hasn't moved yet. And that is a very big concern. As right now Momo does walk up to the front door. Bring her hand up and walking to a window. Opening the curtain and seeing this thing just sit on the lawn outside. And that's alarming. Actually seeing one of these things act like anything. It's weird. Who's got eyes on it? I do. Momo bring up her radio. Trying to express. Did she miss? No, I aimed at its head. It dodged. It dodged? Wait, are you serious? You're kidding me, right? Bakugo going to bring up his radio. And going to express. Okay, so they're handling a deceiver on the grounds. Any real plans? And Deku, here's up his radio. Going to express. He's got one. They need to get to the car. If possible, they might be able to lure it off the property. Take it out that way. Maybe set up a bit of a trap. A trap? Are you trying to improvise right now? Yes, Bakugo, I'm improvising. Got any better ideas? No? Right. Then just listen. The grenades could be good, but we don't know how much they might destroy. It'd be best to keep them... keep them for later if we possibly can. We need Molotovs and fire. These things don't like fire. None of the infected do. They try their best to avoid it. So, here's the idea. We make Molotovs if we can from gas, we have stored inside, and then we try to burn it off. For right now. If only for just a minute, we can get to the vehicles and get out. Then, if it does chase us down, we use the pistols, the rifles, even... We just do something, alright? Now, May will go to speak up. Going to express. Okay. So, here's the issue with all that. She's got a few ideas as to how to take it down. But most of the stuff in her workshop that she's still got in designs, it's not ready. I mean, the crossbow is still not even in phase 1 of being made. Yes, she's got some armor and stuff like that, and the slingshot, but she doesn't know how well that'll do. And Deku, He does have it go through his mind. The slingshot. Barely any sound. Right. That could work. A way to distract it. Just something. If they make a sound nearby, or even behind it, it'll go after that. Maybe? But if it's intelligent. Okay. Momo, keep an eye on it. Tell us about its movements. Right now, Jiro, Kendo, make gas cans. Or make Molotovs. Tamaki. Yeah, what is it? Here's what I need you to do. And be very quick about this. I need you to go and get more of the grenades. You know where they are? Yes. Good. Uh, we need a way off the property. No, that won't work. Tokage? What's up? Got any ideas to how to get outside? The back door? Maybe? Oh, what do you mean outside? We need a plan A and B to distract it. The last time one of these things came after us, it didn't attack if we were covered in zombie guts. So what are you saying then? You need me to go get a zombie? No. I'm just saying. We need more options. Right now, just stay with the group, and if possible, go to the roof. Why? Come here and take one of the rifles, and if you can, do what you need to. Just be ready. Right now until we're ready to make a move, don't do anything. Momo, if it makes any movements, tell us. Got it? Got it. And Bakugo, he just won't sit there. Hearing about how Deku has a full plan for everything. Though these things are bullet sponges. You have to hit them in the face. You have to get them in the head. But no. It's still a living creature, Bakugo. Don't let the fear overtake you. Just remember that. It running through his mind. And Bakugo, he has to bring up his radio. Going to express the flower inside the pantry. The flower inside the pantry. If we need to, outdoors, set it off as a dust explosion. Just spread it out through the air. I don't know about that, Bakugo. It could work. Any other ideas? Wait a second. I've got one. Do you now? Maybe. But we do need the flower. Right. And Deku, he does begin to try and think. He heard about it. A dust explosion that caused the issue. Him gonna turn and begin to make his way back to May's workshop for that slingshot. And he needs to do quite a bit. Right now, May, her going to do a lot. Looking around the room and trying to put together something. Something quick. And this, it is going to be a bit of a problem. Now, Deku, when he does show up, he does talk about the weapon. And May, she will go to Express. Currently going to turn to Deku. Holding the slingshot and holding up a bag of marbles and talking about it. There's a few metal balls in there as well. She tried to do a few things. They're imperfect, but they've got, well, spikes essentially because of the way they were cast. So use them too and see if it might work. And Deku, he does this. Don't look at some of these pieces. Metal and spiky means it'll stick. So let's see what they can do with that. May. What? Yeah, what is it? Got a way to deliver a payload? What do you mean? A way to deliver a payload. I mean, a Molotov if possible. Something, at least. I have an idea. Okay, and? You're not gonna like it. Get that spear over there. I'll grab the duct tape. What are you planning? Trust me, you might not want to know. Currently, May going to run over, and the two they do try to get to work. As currently the deceiver, it stares on at the house, its head slightly moving and taking a whiff of the air. And inside Deku still has a few plans going on. And this does mean quite a bit. Now, currently everybody, they do get armed. And, well, Tokage is on the roof, I believe. She does stare down. Right now her with a rifle, as Deku, he does come walking up. Right now him with a few spears. And Hatsume, she does try to express quite a bit. Right now her gonna walk over and look down. Seeing the... Damn, that's pretty far away. Might not be in range, but still. Okay. Everybody ready? Ready for what? Right now Deku going to look down. And the moment he does, the deceiver does go from looking down to looking right up. Its eyes shooting out of its head and going to stare right at Deku. It's going to get up and bring its hands down to the ground. And the moment it does do that, Momo does going to talk about it. They have movement. And Izuku, he does express about a few things. Currently this thing going to rush forwards. And Deku, he has a turn, bring his hand out. Right now, Tokage bring her weapon over the edge and going to blast at the deceiver. It's going to scream out that it found him. As Deku, he doesn't hear that. This thing taking a few shots in the chest as it tries to slash upwards and into the wall. It beginning to climb the manor as Deku, he has a turn and bring his hand up. Right now him going to slash the bags of flour and throw them up in the air. And this is where Hatsume does a turn bolting off. And Deku, he has a turn bringing his hand up to Tokage. Her, right now, going to stop firing. As she's a turn running through the dust. And Deku, he's just standing there beginning to back up. Right now him going to light the Molotov as the deceiver, it does bring his hand up and onto the roof. It going to climb over as Deku, he does watch that. It beginning to step forwards and staring at Deku. Before we're going to see the fire in his hand. And it does go to someone talk about it. Hurts. And Deku, he'll go to express. Yeah, he'd think that. Him throwing at the Molotov and going to immediately jump backwards. Right now the explosion going to go off as Deku is sent flying backwards through the door. And this thing, it is sent flying off of the manor. Right now it's going to be hurt and smashing down onto the fountain. Right now it being stabbed to the chest as it does go to try and sit up. And Deku, he does go to actually hear a few things happen. Right now Momo does immediately run out the door. Her bring up her weapon and firing at the deceiver. And it does bring its hands up, grabbing onto the broken bits of the fountain and going to pull its body off of them. Before it does someone kill over and blood is beginning to pour out of its mouth. And it does get a look up at Momo. And Momo, she is firing her weapon. Before it does go to click. And this, it does make the deceiver stare at her a lot more hungrily. And this is where Jiro does come running up. Right now her stepping forwards and throwing at the Molotov. As this thing is being struck by it and it does begin to actually go up in flames. It's screaming out in two different voices. And that it does not like. And there actually is Deku. Whenever he did go smashing backwards, he smashed into Tokage and Hatsume. The three falling down the staircase as right now they do so lay in a pile. And Deku, he currently does bring his hand up. Right now him going to sit up as he does a turn. Him going to look at Tokage as she go to express. You know, he's a pretty crazy bastard. Yeah, fuck. My shoulder hurts. Everyone okay? I'm fine. Though, ears are ringing. What? Ears? Her bring her hand up. And Deku, he has a sit up. Right now May, someone sitting there, with blood pouring from the side of her head. And Deku, he does a turn looking at her, going to bend down before making her realize what they need, turning to Tokage and telling her to take care of Hatsume. And Hatsume, she just won't sit there. Right now, her looking up at Tokage. And Izuku, he's gonna run off. Right now, him bolting down the stairs and through the manor. Him thinking about a few things that could have possibly happened. And the Deceiver, it currently does won't sit there. Right now, it's covered in flames and still screaming out. As zombies, they are pounding on the gate for the manor. And some are being lured here by the sheer scream of this thing. Now, Deku, when he does come walking out, he does see the massive hole in his chest, along with the fact that it currently does have one of its arms ripped off, since it was the arm that Jiro hit with the attack. And Jiro, she got sent flying. As right on the Deceiver, it does a step forwards. Right now, Jiro being pulled away by Momo, as Deku, he does come running out. Right now, him bring up two guns as he does start firing. And this is where Ochako, she does go to turn. Her turn to express a few things. As she's still running out with a Molotov cocktail and going to throw it. And Deku, he has to stare at the monster, which has focus towards those two before going to turn towards him. Before the cocktail went off in its face and it brought its hands up. Right now, it grabbing onto its face and trying to protect that. And Deku just gonna watch it cover its face with its claws. Before Deku, he has to bring his hand down. Him going to grab the grenade he currently has on his belt. Before he has a turn. Looking around and going to look at the two. Him bringing his hands up and telling them to move. And this thing, it does still won't sit there. Deku going to throw the grenade outwards as Momo just a turn looking at Jiro. Her dragging her away more as the Deceiver, it just won't sit there. Right now, it's gonna bring its hands back down to the ground as it is gonna find the grenade. It then gonna blow up on this thing. And the Deceiver, it is blown to bits. Now, that is a lot more alarming. And the manor, it does it a shake. Now, everyone, they are trying to gain their bearing on the situation. And this is where everyone, they do come walking out. Tokage and Hatsume are not involved. Bakugo is still bedridden. However, he is trying to at least ask questions about what's happening on comms. And this is where everybody, they all do stand there. The Deceiver, right now laying there and trying to talk out in a voice. Cannot move. Return home. Hive. And Deku, he has him walking up. The Deceiver going to lay there with his limbs blown off, his torso smoking from the fire. And Deku, he has a turn. Right now, him staring at this thing and going to bring up his knife, as it does look directly at Deku. And Deku, he does have one of its eyes shoot out and Deku try to wrap around his wrist. Him bringing his hand out and grabbing onto it, before he has to throw his foot down, smashing down onto his chin, before ripping the eye out of the socket as it is to scream out. And Deku bends down, slashing its vocal cords and its neck, before going to bring up his knife and stab it through the chin and try and smash this knife into its brain. And everyone, they do go to see Deku do that. However, their attention is being turned directly towards the fence and the gate. Since some of the infected, they're piling into it more. And their barricades, they may not be effective enough. Now, people, they do begin to get ready. And Deku, he just won't sit there. Him pulling the knife back and trying to think about what it just said. It talked about a hive. So, there's something else to this. To the infected? Right. Though, it is a concern. I'm going to look around. And he does see that Jiro, she does have a slash right now running up her arm and across. Along with the fact that she does have blood covering her shirt. And this, it does not worry him. Momo holding on to Jiro as she does try to talk about it. Deku running over, bending down and seeing the extent of her injuries. Her arm needs to be stitched immediately. It's losing a lot of blood and not good. Get her help. We'll handle this. Right now, Momo gonna pick up Jiro and begin to run off. Her turning and yelling for somebody to help her out. And Tamaki, he does a try and turn. Deku turning his head and telling Tamaki to stay here. And right now, let Bakugo help out. Since he probably does feel like he's just sitting there. And Bakugo, he does try to radio in, asking about what's going on as Deku brings up the radio, talking about how they have somebody wounded incoming. Take care of them and make sure that they make it. Help Momo patch up Jiro. And this, it is a bit of a concern. Tokage running out and seeing what's going on. As Todoroki, he does actually walk over, bring up a rifle to Deku. And Deku does a turn, grabbing it. As he does try to express about if there's any more Molotovs. Him gonna nod as everyone they do walk over and investigate the fence, seeing about exactly what's happening there. Now, they do try to do what they can. They try to skim all the zombies away from the entrance of the gate, and they do try to use spears. Deku even trying to take pot shots using his new slingshot, and getting in some practice. Now, Jiro's injuries are okay. She got a slash on her arm along with a part of her torso. But the fact that something actually was able to get inside the manor, on the grounds of the manor, it does make Deku concerned. For a whole litany of reasons. They thought that they had to deal with dogs and regular infected. But a deceiver that has intelligence? These things are like wild animals. They can hunt and move around, leap, and they're strong. Shit. That's a big concern. It ran through Deku's mind. Right now, they're on high alert. If any other deceivers come around, they only got 2 grenades. They were lucky to take down this one. Although, Molotovs. Right now, many of them are being put on standby for emergency use only. And it is a bit of a big concern. They've got to make sure to be able to take these things on and do what they can. And May does begin to whip up something better than a Molotov, since it will definitely help use some resources that they can have. It's also simple to get. It will require sand and a few other components, some that they can get from cars. It will be simple and easy, and very, very flammable. Now, it will allow them to not waste gasoline, and that was the main priority with what they already did. Now, currently Deku, he does just don't sit there. Him with a lot going through his mind as he has to actually open up a notebook and begin to write a few things down. Since he does going to write down the word deceiver that talked, and some of the things it did say, along with the word hive. Deku going to underline that. Now, with that being said, this does pose a concern. If there is a nest inside the city, this thing confirmed it. And taking it down, yeah. That's gonna be... oh boy. Oh boy. But there's the idea that these things aren't sentient. It said some other gibberish. But no, they only caught the important bits, right? Maybe, but that does still worry him. Even if these words aren't random, what it still said was somewhat intelligent? No. It knew what fire was because it said it hurt. Hurts? Right, right. He might have a concussion. Okay, Zuko. Sleep already wasn't in the cards for you, but this just makes it worse. Deku staring down at that word. Hive. Hive. And it unnerves him. Like a beehive. So, if that's the case, there's something controlling the infected. Oh, fuck. Okay, that is certainly not good. They're going to knock on his door. I'm going to turn. Him going to close his notebook as he has a spin in his chair. What is it? Hey, it's me. Ochako gonna walk in. And right now she's a closed door behind her. Deku staring on as she does a train express. She wanted to check in on him. See if he was okay. It worried her earlier when they were interrupted. Yeah. No, I'm mostly okay. Though I think my head's still in a daze from the explosion. You okay? It was Balko's idea, you know. Hmm? The thing on the roof? Though my idea was just to try and throw a grenade down its throat. May had this idea, and it sounds stupid the more you think about it. But it also sounds rational and at the same time crazy enough to work. And that was duct tape a grenade to a spear and stab it. That sounds insane. I know. I almost did it. Really? No, the more I think about it, it would work. Though it would waste a grenade. That is a good point. Oh, we only got two more of those left. I know. Using them is not an option, but Molotovs definitely are. We can get them easier and make them easier from what May has said. And she's already thought about alternatives than the gasoline. It burns too fast. At least, too fast for our liking. Can we take a break from that? Hmm? No more zombies. Okay? Listen. Tokage is on patrol because she wanted to stay up. Along with that, Momo's up, Hatame's up. Everyone's sort of up right now. And we're all worried about safety right now. Listen, there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about. But most of them are about the infected, what happened, what we should do. But I don't want to worry about that because I feel like I'll snap, okay? I know you need help, Izuku, and I want to rely on you, and I want you to rely on me, okay? So, how about for the next hour, too? It's not about how fucked up the world is, it's about us. Can we do that for just 2 hours? Deku's staring on, and he's not gonna lie. He could use no, not the distraction. That's not what she is to him. She's important. He could use the company. Deku's not gonna smile. And right now, Deku, he has a stand up. Him gonna walk over to Ochako and bring her into a hug. And right now her eyes do fill with tears. As she just won't collapse. And Deku, he doesn't somewhat fall to the ground with her. Both of the two trying to just distract themselves from the end of the world. They distract themselves from the fact that this place isn't as secure as they really thought it was. It's safe. But if another one of those things do show up, they're not sure how long that might last. And Deku, he just tries to be with her, be himself, but he's not too sure if he knows what that is anymore. Now, well, that's currently going on with Izuku and Ochako. Let's cut somewhere else. Right now, a boat does finally come adrift to shore, and the person inside, they climb out. Since it isn't good, they manage to escape. They manage to actually get off of the island, but it's not good. Not good at all. Things are going to get bad really, really soon. And the moment they do, oh God, the moment they do, this place is going to become ground zero for something bad. That right now on Melissa Shields' mind. As the beach, it's empty. It's nice. And Melissa, she's gonna turn, gonna fall backwards. Her gonna lie in the sand for a second because of how long it's been since she's been ashore. And it feels pretty damn good. Being back on solid ground. Plus, it feels different. After 2 weeks at sea, she's back on a continent. Back on solid ground. But she doesn't know how long it'll last. Because more ground is coming. And that might affect everything. Now, while Melissa's gonna lay there, the reactions with the ground, it is gonna somewhat shift. And it does alarm her a little bit more. Right now, her gonna actually sit back up and watch the water retreat. The boat gonna sit there on dry land as Melissa, her eyes are gonna widen. Right now, her gonna turn and run directly towards shore, running as fast as she can on the sand with her shoes. Before she actually turn, running up the staircase and going to look around. Not seeing the infected, and gonna turn back around, watching the water fly forwards and slam upwards into the wall. It climbing the beach rapidly. And that, it doesn't concern Melissa. And they're actually is back at the manor. The ground began to shake as well. And this, it did somewhat surprise everybody. As right now, there is the pit, which is not happy with the failure it sent out. Now, with that all being said, let us wrap that up. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night.